Hello, good evening. My name is Emiliano and I will be explaining my evidence number 2. I will keep it as brief as possible. I won't explain everything in such a detail, but I will explain enough for you to have an idea and to keep it overall pretty clear. The problem I selected is the problem that I've been working throughout this semester because I had experience myself on it, which is on the supply chain area of Schneider Electric, which was a company where I worked in the past for about 8 to 9 months, and I'm aware of what areas of opportunity are in that area. At this time, I selected the delays that happen from us to the customers and from the suppliers to us, like all those logistic things. Maybe shortage of raw material from suppliers and also from us, and stuff like that. Manufacturing plants that are also from Schneider Electric, other plants, other options, everything related to that kind of stuff. So, for the type of model for this situation, I decided to work in a dynamic model because there are a lot of let's say interdependent variables that must be taken into consideration, such as the supplier's lead times, the demand, variability in the forecasting, levels of inventory. All of these are very much susceptible to change, and they have a lot of variability, or they are pretty much volatile. Even if you have an historical demand, it can pretty much depend and vary from year to year, since you cannot predict 100% the future. So for this diagram, I decided to put it like kind of like a flow chart, to keep it simple, because I'm not pretty much into this kind of stuff elaborating it. So I keep it pretty much very simple. And on this first chart, I simply explain the model. So therefore, you can find from demand variability to the increased demand forecasting to the levels of inventory, material shortages, the production delays, and everything like this. After that, we have the synaptic table, which I selected three archetypes, which are the growth limits, the quick solutions which fail, and success for those that succeed, which basically means that the growth is constrained by system limitations, and by there I'm saying that yeah, maybe we need more, but the suppliers cannot afford that more. And also, well, applying quick solutions to problems that are merely temporarily, that maybe benefits us in the short term, but on the long term is pretty much bad, because that increases costs and inefficiencies. And lastly, the resources that are allocated where things are, well, working. Yeah, that could be good, but that also leaves areas underdeveloped. And that's mainly what I try to emphasize on the synaptic table. Then we have now the flowchart about this problem. I'm sorry, which is mainly identifying the supply chain performance issues that comes from the data that we collect, and after that, analyzing possible relationships with the models, then identifying root of causes, developing alternative solutions, and all of this until we come to implementing some improvements, and then after that, monitoring them, so we know that they are working. After this, we have the descriptive charts, which mainly I explain some aspects like the discovery of alternative, the development of acceptable solutions, the recollection and systemic analysis of information, and the consideration of bounded rationality, which mainly it was only like delivering possible solutions to this problematic by reviewing some alternatives and everything like this. For example, improving the demand of the forecast, implementing digital supply chain monitoring, coming through implementing an integrated supply chain management platform for it to improve the communication between the suppliers and the warehouses, and Well, mainly the main big three that are involved, also the production planners, and taking into consideration all the data that we are recollecting from the historical data, the supplier lead times, the production schedules, and analyzing all of them to understand structural causes, to finally, well, get all this information from the managers so they can take up an informed decision. And because we all know that managers are usually very limited on time, therefore they are limited in information. So therefore they can make a more planned solution. And that will be all my evidence too. Here are all the visual aspects, so thank you very much, and I hope you enjoy it.